don't you talk about the home tower and the ag tower quickly, if we can do that too. Can we do
Okay,
that?
sure. Yeah. So this is so when you get a light tower, the light tower, it just comes, say this is the 5-inch light tower. This is what this is what you get. It comes with a bag kind of like this. It'll be similar to this with the shoulder strap. There's a video on our homepage with Colleen talking about how she used this with her EMF sensitivity to overcome that, and then she was able to travel the world again. So very effective, but that's what you get is the light tower here. But I don't know if you can see the stand here.
Not very well. Yeah,
okay,
not very
so
well.
here, this is the home stand. Now, this home stand has a couple features to it. One, it's got the shelf. This shelf comes in and out, and that's you put the light tower right on this shelf, and you'll slide it back in here. Okay, just like that. And then you've got a shelf up here that you can put your water on. You can put food. You can put your fruits, your citrus, your vegetables, your dinner plate on there. Energize your food before you eat it. Again, it's all about light. How do you get more light into you? Well, you can eat light, so so to speak. I mean, they talk about that with the fruits and vegetables and food that the UV rays are in there. Anyway, you can eat light. So this is going to energize your food. But the thing that makes this homestand really powerful is that inside on the bottom we put a scalar antenna. Now it's fixed in there. You can probably see it if you take the shelf out. We're not hiding anything with that. But that scalar antenna takes that beam. Remember when I was talking about how we treat these plates? It creates a structure that beams the light in a very direct beam. That's why you can treat the fan. That's why you can paint the Wi-Fi routers. That's why you can put it on your feet like that, because it's a beam. People ask this question a lot. What's the area of a light that the light tower protects? Our light towers aren't a frequency generator like an electronic device, a device that runs on battery or power. It's not creating this field by itself. It's direction. It's directional. It's more like light therapy than it is a frequency generator in that sense. So if you're thinking about that, well, just by itself, you set it up on the counter, it's just going to have a beam going straight up. The scalar antenna that's in this home stand is what interacts with the biophotonic energy of the plates and expands that field out in the scalar. And we see that effectively the 4-inch light tower can then, that field that normally would just be the width of this plate actually is expanded out to be about 600 square feet in area.
Oh, cool.
The 5-inch light tower expands out 1.5 acres, and then the 7-inch light tower is a little further than that, about 3.5 acres. So this stand is just another thing, kind of like Doc, you were talking about all the different ways you're using light tower on people with their body alignment and pain. Well, this is one way to then use the light towers not just on yourself but in the home to get that biophotonic activity going throughout the entire house. So that's the home stand. That's different than these GeoField conditioners. So these GeoField conditioners will come in a box just like this, and these become pre-engineered, pre-aligned, and this is a brand new one. They are 20 plates. So these are 4 stacks of those plates, and they're set in here. Okay, so you're not moving these. This is a complete unit just in itself. You can set this up on a counter. You can set it on a bookshelf. You could set it on a lot of people might have a bed stand that has a shelf on the back. As long as there's no electronics or magnetic fields around it, these are going to work. And they come with instructions on how to align it and going with magnetic north. But that conditioner, this is what's great for a small scale farm or homesteader, because it'll cover about 160 to 200 acres. Our biophotonic activity, the range it covers is a byproduct of the the strength that we embed into the plates, how we treat the plates. That's just how far out it's going to broadcast that coherent field. And then all the bees, the birds, everything in that area is going to be benefited by that field. Now this is the XT. This is about 9-inch square. You can tell I pick it up. It's working now. It doesn't have to be plugged in. There's no moving parts. It's a subtle energy device. That means if I go on a road trip, I can take it with me.
Okay.
I can set it up in the hotel room. I can take, so if I have a vacation home somewhere, I can take it with me when I'm going on vacation. So it's all the products move around like that. Now, the other the one that maybe a larger farms or places of business will use would be XLT. Now the units come shipped in this foam pad. So I left it there just to show you guys. It comes in this foam packaging, but when you open it up, you unfold it, and the device is right here. Sorry, I wish I had a little bit better screen. I could show you how to unpack it. But again, it's just like the XT, it's just larger. So instead of being 9 inches square, it's about 12 inches square. Here, I'll get it open up for you, and you'll see this is the same thing. This is the XLT ag conditioner. This is what John Wood has on his farm. We mentioned him. What a lot of farmers, the dairy, I have a dairy in New Mexico, 4,000 cow dairy that we tracked for 90 days, and they saw just through a really wet winter, they saw all their cows improve their production. But really, what they liked seeing even more was the number of lactations they were getting per cow from milking. So for them, they don't really make money on their cows until the second or third lactation. So for them to get cows that were going into the third, fourth, even fifth lactation was a big deal. So this is the XLT. Again, on the inside, you'll see this is exactly how it comes. There's paper towel in there just for shipping. You can leave that in or take it out. But again, there's 20 plates. Now these plates are manufactured. So before we do our treating, there might be some residual marks on here that are just from when the company that we use to polish it. When we did our polishing on it, that might be a little bit, it might look a little, I don't know, not scratched, but just, they're mirror back, but they are a stainless steel plate. So there could be a little bit of that residual there from the manufacturing process, but the function is 100%. It goes through 3 levels of quality control to make sure that each one of the units is perfect and reliable for you. So there's nothing to worry about with that.
You keep the top on it, right? Or do those units sit out bare like that in the weather, or it's got a top on it?
Yep. I like to leave the top on so that you protect it from all the dust.
Right. Yeah, the dirt and everything. You don't have to clean.
Being a mirror, being that we're reflecting light, we want to really reflect as strongly as we can. So the brighter they are, the better they are. So we had on the website, you'll still see a home device, which looks very similar to that XLT.
Right.
Now, what you see different here is this one has 16 plates. So it has 4 stacks of 3 plates underneath this plastic, and then this top plate is like a balancing plate. And so this was it's on a lot of farms still. It's super effective. It's a little less expensive than the XLT. Has 16 plates versus 20, so that's why it's a little bit less. But those are the GeoField conditioners, and they are really a game changer as far as for farmers, but just in general there's some cities that or some small townships that are looking at putting this in for the entire township. There's mayors who really want to put it in the city hall, so it's like central and protecting the entire downtown area. So there's just a lot of people and a lot of interest out there on how to allow the technology to still exist, because we're not going to really be able to we can't get rid of the cell towers at this point. But how do we coexist, right? How do we continue to still be healthy and thrive? And these GeoField conditioners are a great solution, and are making a big difference both for farmers, for business owners. I have a lot of business owners put it in there, and they notice their employee health is improving. And this is just things they observe and tell me. I'm not making any of those claims. I'm just telling you what I've heard from customers who are using them and the things they're finding. And that's exactly what it is, what we would expect if we've gotten rid of that EMF stress.
So depending on how many acres they have is going to determine on the size of the ag tower that they'll need for the field effect, right?
Yeah, I think there's a couple factors that I think of to decide. It's the acreage is one thing, but also how big of an operation, how quickly do they want to see an impact, and then how much electrode density are they dealing with? If they're closer into town, their electrode density is going to be big. If they're right next to one of these cross-county power lines, the large megawatt, kilowatt power lines, if they've got cell towers all around them, all those, these are all factors. So there's a little bit of a matrix we put you through, but ultimately we need a product that you have to choose the product that's going to create the balance. Again, remember that we were talking about how oxygen can get disrupted by the EMF.
Exactly.
Well, once that oxygen is balanced, it's balanced, and if it's balanced, it's gonna perform the way it's designed to. But if you don't have a big enough unit, or if we're not really creating the balance that we want yet, then you might, because maybe the electrode density is high, that would be a factor in not seeing maybe the results that we would expect right away. And so, like the lady who had the systemic mold, if she had just had a pendant, I don't think she would have seen she would not have seen the fast relief that she saw with a 7-inch light tower. And we've seen that. Dr. Marlene Siegel actually did some live blood analysis for us on her dogs, on the pets. She's a holistic vet down in Tampa, and she did live blood analysis on several dogs that came in, and she showed that all the products restructure the blood. They removed the rouleau disappeared, and you got back to where your blood was flowing beautifully, and the red blood cells were back to a normal shape. But that the 4-inch light tower took about 45 minutes to get a 50% improvement in the blood, whereas the 7-inch light tower was just 10 minutes. And the 5-inch light tower was about between 10 to 20 minutes to get a full, and those were like 80 to 100% improvements. So it shows that, yes, the size of the plate makes a difference on the efficiency or how quickly you get that balance, but all the products are contributing to that same end goal. So it just depends on how severe is the environment that you're dealing with, and then how big is your operation, and how quickly do you want to see the change.